Nobody warns you that the hardest part of keeping a clean house after 60 isn't the dirt. It's the energy. You wake up with the best intentions, you look around at everything that needs doing, and by 10 in the morning your back has already voted no. I hear it from viewers every single week. John, I used to clean the whole house in one Saturday. I can't do that anymore. And here's the truth that took me years to learn. You were never supposed to. The people with the cleanest homes I know, and I've been in a lot of homes, don't clean in marathons. They clean in minutes. Small, repeatable, almost lazy little habits that add up to a house that never actually gets dirty in the first place. In the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you my entire daily routine, the one I do in under 30 minutes, and I'll show you how to adapt every piece of it to a body that's earned its aches honestly. I'm John Marcus, and this channel, Seniors Cleaning Hacks, exists for one reason: to help folks in their golden years keep a home they're proud of without wearing themselves out doing it. If that sounds like something worth having in your corner, take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what we do here every week. It costs you nothing, and it tells me you want more of this. All right, let's get into the routine. The whole philosophy here is simple. We're not deep cleaning anything. Deep cleaning is a separate job for a separate day, and honestly, half of it you can skip if you keep up with the daily stuff. What we're doing is maintenance. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't scrub for an hour once a month. You do 2 easy minutes twice a day, and the problems never get a foothold. Same idea. Whole house. Habit number 1. Make the bed, but do it my way. The first thing I do every morning, before coffee even, is deal with the bed. And I want to be honest with you, for most of my life I thought this was pointless. You're just going to climb back in it. Why bother? But somewhere along the way I figured out what my mother knew all along. A made bed changes the entire feel of the room. Your bedroom goes from looking like a struggle to looking like a sanctuary, and you carry that feeling with you the rest of the day. It's a win before breakfast. Doctors and habit researchers talk about this all the time. That first small accomplishment builds momentum for everything that follows. I can tell you from experience, it's real. But here's the part built for us specifically. Don't make the bed the second you get up. Pull the covers all the way back instead, open them up, and walk away. Go make your coffee, take your medications, do your morning routine. Beds hold a surprising amount of moisture from body heat overnight, and if you seal that in immediately, you get musty odors and you give dust mites exactly the warm, damp environment they love. 20 or 30 minutes of airing out makes a real difference. Then come back and pull things up. And listen, this does not need to look like a hotel. If bending is hard on your back, forget the tucked corners entirely. A duvet with a cover is your best friend here, because making the bed becomes one motion. Grab it, shake it, lay it flat, done. 15 seconds. If arthritis makes gripping sheets difficult, look into duvet covers with large loop ties instead of tiny buttons. Small adjustments like that keep the habit alive. Habit number 2. Never let a dish sleep in the sink. Let's move to the kitchen, because the next several habits all live there. I treat my kitchen like a restaurant treats theirs, with a closing shift. Every evening after dinner, the kitchen gets shut down properly so the morning starts fresh. The centerpiece of that closing shift is the dishes. If you have a dishwasher, the rule is simple. Load it through the day, run it at night, empty it in the morning while your coffee brews. Waking up to a machine full of dirty dishes is one of those small miseries that snowballs. Because a full dirty dishwasher means the sink starts collecting, and a full sink means the counters start collecting, and suddenly the whole kitchen has gotten away from you. If you hand wash like a lot of us do, let me give you the single best habit I've ever adopted. I call it the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, you do it immediately. No sink purgatory, no, I'll get to it. 1 coffee mug takes 40 seconds to wash and rack. 10 coffee mugs at the end of the day take 15 minutes and a sore lower back. The math always favors doing it on the spot. One more thing for those of us with stiff hands. A long-handled dish brush that stands in a little caddy is far easier on the joints than gripping a sponge, and a rubber mat in the bottom of the sink cuts down on breakage if something slips. Fewer broken glasses means fewer trips to sweep up shards, and at our age, that matters. Habit number 3, a 30-second counter wipe. While the dishes are draining or the machine is humming, I hit the countertops. This is a 30-second job if you do it daily, and a 30-minute job if you save it for the weekend. Crumbs, coffee drips, a little grease film near the stove. None of it looks like much on any single day, but it compounds fast, and dried-on residue is exactly the kind of scrubbing our shoulders don't need. Here's my setup, and it costs almost nothing. I keep a spray bottle under the sink with warm water and about a teaspoon of plain blue dish soap. That's it. That mixture handles 90% of kitchen messes. I use a 2-towel system, 1 damp cloth to wipe, 1 dry microfiber cloth to buff. That second towel sounds fussy, but if you have granite, quartz, or any glossy surface, leaving water behind means streaks and mineral spots. 10 extra seconds of buffing and the counters shine like you worked much harder than you did. Don't move everything off the counters either. Skip the canisters, skip the toaster's hiding spot. Just clean the zones where hands and food actually go. Perfection is the enemy of the habit. We want fast, we want daily, we want done. By the way, if these tips are landing for you, a quick tap on the like button helps this video reach other folks our age who could use it. It really does make a difference for a small channel like ours. Habit number 4. Rinse the sink before bed. People forget that the sink itself gets dirty, which is funny when you think about it, because it's where all the dirt goes. Food particles, grease, coffee grounds, leave them overnight, and 2 things happen. First, everything dries and cements itself in place. Second, organic matter starts to break down, and that's where kitchen odors come from. If you've ever walked into your kitchen in the morning and thought, "What is that smell?" the answer is usually the drain. So the sink gets 30 seconds at the end of my closing shift. On a busy day, a thorough hot water rinse is enough. On a normal day, I squirt a little dish soap on a brush, give the basin a quick scrub, and rinse it down. If you have a garbage disposal, run it daily with plenty of cold water, and once a week toss in a few ice cubes with a slice of lemon. The ice knocks debris off the blades and the lemon handles the smell. Cheap, old-fashioned, and it works better than the expensive tablets they sell for the same job. Habit number 5. The stove gets the same treatment. Since the spray bottle is already out, walk it 3 feet to the left and wipe the stovetop. This is the most skipped surface in the kitchen, and it's the one that punishes you hardest for skipping it. A splash of spaghetti sauce wiped tonight is a damp cloth in 5 seconds. That same splash next week is a scraper, elbow grease, and a bad mood. Grease also builds in layers you can barely see day to day. And beyond looking dull, heavy grease buildup near burners is a genuine fire concern. A daily wipe after the stove cools keeps you out of that territory completely. Same spray, same 2 towels, whole job under a minute. Habit number 6. 1 load every day out of the kitchen and over to the laundry. Here's the trap most households fall into: saving laundry for 1 big day. That worked when we were 40. But hauling 5 heavy loads up and down basement stairs in a single afternoon is exactly the kind of repetitive strain that puts people our age out of commission, or worse, causes a fall. So flip it. 1 small load every day or every other day, depending on your household size. Toss it in during breakfast. Move it to the dryer at lunch. Fold it in the evening while you watch your program. Folding in front of the television is my secret weapon, honestly. The chore disappears into something you were doing anyway. A few senior-specific pointers here, because laundry rooms are quietly one of the more hazardous rooms in the house. Use a rolling hamper or a laundry cart instead of carrying baskets. Your balance will thank you. Keep detergent in a pump bottle at counter height, so you're not hoisting a heavy jug. And if your machines are in the basement, consider whether a smaller daily load you can carry in one hand beats a giant basket that blocks your view of the stairs. Small loads aren't just easier, they're safer. Habit number 7. Floors, the high-traffic way. Next up is the floors, and before you groan, hear me out, because I am not asking you to vacuum the whole house daily. Nobody needs that, and nobody's hips want it either. Instead, focus on what the professionals call high-traffic zones: the kitchen floor, the main living area, and the entryway. That's where grit gets tracked in and ground around, and grit is what actually wears out flooring and spreads dust through the house. Hit those 3 zones for 5 minutes a day, and rotate the other rooms across the week. When bedroom on Monday, hallway on Tuesday, and so on. By Sunday, the whole house has been covered, and no single day felt like work. Equipment matters more for us than it does for younger folks. A lightweight cordless stick vacuum is worth every penny because the real enemy isn't the vacuuming. It's dragging a heavy canister around and wrestling with a cord that wants to trip you. If a vacuum feels heavy in the store, it'll feel 3 times heavier at home. And here's a tip nobody mentions. Keep the vacuum somewhere you can grab it without bending or digging through a closet. The easier the tool is to reach, that single change, moving my vacuum from the closet floor to a wall hook, probably doubled how often my floors get done. One more entryway trick: a good bristled mat outside the door and a washable rug inside. Studies on household dust consistently show the majority of it walks in on shoes. Catch it at the door and you've cut your floor work before it starts. Some households go shoes off entirely, and if your balance allows for a bench by the door to sit and change into house slippers, that's the gold standard. Habit number 8, the 10-minute reset. As the evening winds down, I do what I call the reset. Grab a basket. This part is important. A basket or a bag, so you're not making 15 trips. And walk the main living spaces once. Anything that doesn't belong in the room goes in the basket. Reading glasses, mail, the sweater on the chair, yesterday's newspaper, the mug that migrated to the end table. Then walk the basket around and put things where they live. I limit this to the living room and bedroom, the rooms where life actually happens. Coffee tables in particular are magnets for clutter. Ours collects things like it's being paid to. 10 minutes, one lap, and the whole house feels reset for the next morning. I want to say something honest about clutter, because for our generation it carries some weight. After decades in a home, things accumulate, and sometimes the mess isn't laziness, it's memories, and decisions we haven't been ready to make. Be kind to yourself about that. The daily reset isn't about decluttering your life. It's just about returning things to their spots so surfaces stay clear, and frankly, so walking paths stay clear too. Clear floors prevent falls, and preventing falls is the most important cleaning benefit nobody talks about. If you know someone who could use that reminder, share this video with them. Sometimes it lands better coming from a stranger on the internet than from family. Habit number 9, trash out, every night. The last stop on the nightly circuit is the trash. Kitchen garbage is the one thing in your house guaranteed to smell if ignored, and odors soak into a home faster than you'd think. So the bag goes out every evening, full or not full, if there's food waste in it. While the bag is out, give the can a quick look, a paper towel wipe of the rim, a drop of dish soap, and a rinse once a week. And do yourself a favor, buy the bags with the drawstring handles and don't overfill them. A half-full bag you can carry easily beats a stuffed one that strains your grip or splits on the way to the bin. Let me pull the camera back because a list of habits is worthless without a way to keep them going. 3 principles hold this whole routine together. First, pace beats power. You do not need to do this checklist in one burst. Spread it across the day, bed in the morning, reset in the afternoon, kitchen shutdown at night. Habit researchers call this anchoring. Attach each task to something you already do. Bed after coffee, counters while the dishwasher runs, folding during the evening news. The habit borrows strength from the routine you already have. Second, sit when you can and respect your body's warnings. Fold laundry seated. Keep supplies on every floor of the house so you're not climbing stairs for a spray bottle. Long-handled dusters, grabber tools, lightweight equipment. These aren't giving up. They're working smart. The goal is a routine you can still be doing at 90. Third, lower the bar until you can't fail. A sloppily made bed beats an unmade one. A rinsed sink beats a dirty one. On rough days, and we all have them, pick just 2 items, dishes and trash. Those 2 alone will keep a house from sliding backward until you're feeling stronger. So that's the routine, 9 small habits, under 30 minutes total, and a home that stays clean because it never gets the chance to get dirty. Start with just 1 this week. I'd suggest the bed or the 2-minute dish rule, and add another each week until the whole thing runs on autopilot. If this helped you, subscribing to Seniors Cleaning Hacks is the best way to support what we do here, and drop a comment if you've got a habit of your own that keeps your home in shape. I read every one, and some of my best tips have come straight from you all. Until next time, take care of your home, and take even better care of yourself. This is John Marcus, signing off.